If you're applying to college and you want to stand out, start here. Okay, tip number 1, start with the hook. A lot of people have essays that can come off very boring because they're so generic, and essays that, if you think about it, these are admissions officers who have been reading hundreds of essays, maybe thousands, over the course of many months and years, right? If you're starting with, I worked really hard in high school, or I worked really hard to get on the basketball team, that's not gonna mean a single thing to them. Instead, if you say, it's 7:54 p.m., I look down at my shoes and they're untied, a car pulls up and the door swings open, it's game time. It leads with something that's gonna catch your attention. And that's honestly something that you could get very, very creative with. Some of the best essays have people talking about SpongeBob, why their grandma who knits is their superhero, why they like cooking pasta with cinnamon. Something very extreme and out there is gonna catch the reader's attention and wake them up, make them remember your essay. And if you do that on its own, that will put you in the top 10% of essays, I swear. Second tip, zoom in before you zoom out. This is sort of like show, don't tell. Essentially what you're saying is let the moment breathe a little bit, let someone see the moment before explaining to them what it means. A lot of times people write very directly, and this is oftentimes seen in things like making videos, for example. Someone will say, I'm doing this, basketball taught me resilience, basketball taught me respect, basketball taught me hard work. But instead, someone should say, my sneakers creased across the gym floor, I was tired, hungry, and my right arm was still in a brace. Basketball season was starting in 3 days. Something along those lines, right? That's an opener that's gonna make someone realize, okay, this is about resilience. This person has a story to tell. Even if it's the most basic story ever, it's more about how you frame it than the actual context itself. Very few people are Nobel Laureate Prize winners. Very few people are Nobel Laureate Prize winners, or astronauts, or presidents of or CEOs of a company. What you have to do is create a story out of what you have, because everyone is genuinely very unique in their own ways, and you have to be able to sell that to the reader. Tip number three. When doing the Why Us essay, make sure you do your homework. The pitfall that everyone runs into with this essay, probably, if I'm gonna have to take a guess, at least half of people run into. For example, with USC, a school located in Los Angeles, half the people are going to write, I love that it's in LA, I love the diversity, I love the parties, I love the sports, and they're just figuring out why USC is such a great school. USC already knows they're a great school. However, some way that you could spice it up is, say I wanna take Psych 108, Dreams and Sleep by Professor McGowan and lay down on Corny Hall, whatever it's called, right? Like, I don't go to USC, but that's sort of the point. When you're writing the Why Us essay, you're being very specific about USC and what is that they can offer that goes beyond the fun activities that it can provide. Talk about how the professor can lift you up, how the academic opportunities are gonna help you post-grad, how their research, how anything else that they can do will help you as a student and someone who's interested in the school beyond LA and USC being a party school. Name classes, professors, random traditions, anything else along those lines, and you will be golden. But obviously, don't overfluff the whole thing and make it seem like you just read the Wikipedia for an hour straight. And finally, number 4 is be strategic with the major that you're choosing. Now, this one can be a little bit of a gray area, but let me explain. Essentially, some majors are easier to get into than others, and I think that makes sense. If 1,000 people applied to CS, there can't be the same acceptance rate for the exact amount of people who also want to apply to underwater basket weaving studies. There's just, the demand isn't gonna be there. The supply and demand is just, it's just not gonna work out the same. there's going to be less competition for certain majors. However, with this in mind, this might sound a little shady, but you have to be strategic about how you're applying. This doesn't mean apply undeclared and then try to transfer into pre-med. That's not how it works. A lot of people try to do that and try to game the system. That's gonna backfire, and you're gonna be at the school that maybe you didn't even want to go to with the major that you now don't want either. Instead, go to the school that you want, of course, but if you are applying between, let's just say, business and econ, and you realize that, for example, as a transfer, the UC website has stats and information that lets you know what the acceptance rates are for specific majors. If you're applying for business econ, I believe it's roughly around a 10 to 12% acceptance rate. However, if you're applying to just strictly econ, that's about a 20% acceptance rate. And I came in as econ personally. So when I was choosing, I did not want to take accounting classes because that would just add an extra workload. I'd be totally okay with doubling my chances of getting into UCLA and getting a major that's virtually the same and still gives virtually the same amount of opportunities as business econ. Now, of course, this is a case-by-case basis, and I think everyone should figure out what that means for you. If you're a CS major, I would not apply for philosophy hoping that you can pull the same strings. It's totally up for you, but yeah, just something to keep in mind. Just make sure you're looking at the policies for major switching and seeing what you can do so that you're not getting stuck with the wrong major or choosing a major that you thought you could get out of to game the system. Anyways, that's all for now. If you have any questions about college or anything specific in general, please let me know. I wish someone told me these things a lot sooner too, and I'm glad I did know a few of these when I was applying at the time. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And yeah, good luck with any seniors, transfer students, and prospective students of all kinds. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Take care, and goodbye.